Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I normally change my colour scheme, but today I'm not. I'm going to stick with the Flirty Flamingo. So the card pieces you're going to need, card base in Whisper White, and this measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8. In metric, that's 21 centimetres by 14.5, scored and folded at 10.5. A layer of Flirty Flamingo, and that measures 4 inches by 5 5/8, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. A top layer of Whisper White, which measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/4 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. You'll also need a scrap of Flirty Flamingo for the layer behind the sentiment, and you'll also need a few scraps for these other little bits and pieces. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the swing on our top layer, and then once we've done that we're going to stamp it again on some on a post-it note so that we can cut out a mask. Okay, so I'm using our black Archival ink. And I'm just stamping this fairly close to the top. Just give it a jolly good press. My ink pad needs re-inking, but it's not a good idea to do it immediately before starting a video. So let's see. Oh good, that's worked. Okay, so that's that one. Now we need a mask. So I'm going to use a post-it note. Now I wouldn't recommend this for somebody who doesn't like fussy cutting, because it really does take a lot of patience to cut this swing out, because you have to cut out the innards between the wooden slats at the back. Okay, so I'm going to do it upside... No, I'm not. I'm going to do it the right way, aren't I? So that the curved bit of the swing has a sticky behind it. The first one I did put it upside down, but I found that because when I put it on my cardstock, the sticky was down here, the top bit came up. It doesn't seem to happen so badly the other way round. There we go. Now this is where our little paper snips really come into their own. The reason being they're very, very sharp, and also they cut right to the end of the point. So very carefully cut this out. I start off going around the outside. I have got a one over there on the other side of my desk which I will be using, but I just want to show you how I get round dealing with this. As you're cutting around, make sure you get right onto the black line. You don't want to leave any post-it note on the outside of the black, the outside of the black line. Don't want any post-it note there. And you don't need to worry about trying to cut out the rope supports either. Just cut those off. Okay, so when you come down to this part, will show you where I'm cutting, because you do actually leave part of the rope on here. Where's my, that's it. Okay, see that part there, that straight line there, if you can see where my, yes you can, that straight line there, that is actually rope, but obviously you can't cut it off, otherwise you'd leave the nuts and bolts part. Okay, so that's the main part of the swing done. Now what I do to get all these inside bits cut is I use the point of my scissor and just break the paper and then very carefully cut around. Now this is where I say these paper snips come into their own, because you can point your scissors to the top and you know how far it's going to cut. There we go, just like that. It's just so nice and easy. But they are very, very sharp. So when you put the point of the scissor through the paper to break the paper, so you can start cutting, make sure you don't have your finger behind it. Okay, so that's one. You see, I don't have my fingers right behind the scissors. It's actually on my desk. There we go. And then you just carry on cutting all the spaces between the slats until you have them all done. Okay, so that's two. That's all you need to watch me do. So this is my completed one. If I can just show you, I can reach this. This is what I was left with when I cut my first one out. Okay, so I've saved this to show you so that it gives you some idea of the bits that you'll be cutting out, like that part there, which was the nuts and bolts on that side, and how I've cut that one as well. These are the bits that I cut off between the slats, and as you can see, nearly all of them have got the black on there, which is what I've said, don't leave any of the pink bit on the swing. If you have to cut anything off, just cut a little tad of the black bit, so you'll finish up with bits like that. Right, okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the wooden part onto here. So I'm going to put my mask back in place. There we go, and my stamp, I'm using hardwood for this. Okay, and I'm using Sahara Sand ink. So all I'm doing is just inking everything up, the whole stamp up. Then I'm going to turn this over, try and position this on straight. And then with a scrap of paper, put it on top and give it a press. Now you will find that it won't stamp quite so well in between the slats because there is a little bit of a dip because there's paper on it. So just concentrate on giving that a little bit of extra pressure. Okay. That looks good, and if we take this off, there we go, beautiful. You see, there hasn't been very much coming through here at all. You can see it here, and a bit here, some there, some there. But by the time all of this is done and you've got the cushions and the cats and everything on it, it's going to be fine. So I use Crumb Cake marker pen to do the actual swing. No, I don't want the pen end, I want the brush end. So just paint over that. And there's one little bit down there as well. This isn't one of the kind of cards that you do if you're in a hurry. There's quite a bit of painting that needs to be done with it. Quite a bit of fussy cutting. But it's the kind of stamp, the kind of card that I find very relaxing. I enjoy colouring. I'm quite happy fussy cutting. You may notice with the sentiment, I've used 2 punches that have retired. I'm hoping that when we get the new layering ovals, I'm hoping that they'll replace these punches. But my order isn't due to arrive until probably tomorrow now, I think. So in the meantime I'm having to use the retired ones. So there's that. Now for the cushion I'm going to use Dapper Denim, and you have a choice. You can either paint the very thin lines. In fact, you have 2 choices. You could just paint over the whole lot and forget that there's stripes there. But me, I either paint the thin ones, in which case I use the pen end of this, or the thicker one. In fact, I think I'll still use the pen end for the thicker gaps. Yes, I think that's probably easier than using the brush. Oops. Fortunately, any mistakes on this bit can be covered with cushions, or the cat, or the dog if you put the dog on the swing rather than in his basket. At the end I'll show you the card that I made that I showed on my blog. I think it was on Friday. When I made that, I knew that I had a bit of streamlining to do because I had one or two problems with it. So I've been playing with this all day today, trying to make sure I get it right, which I think I have done. As I say, it is quite time consuming. With all the parts, like the cushions and the cat and the dog, I've already stamped them, coloured them, cut them out. So that part will be quite quick enough. Right, now I count the bottom line here as a solid blue line. And also that line there, I think they call that piping. I'm sure somebody can let me know if I'm wrong about that. There we go. Right, now this is what I've been playing with this afternoon. These are all my bits and pieces. I'm doing Flirty Flamingo, but what I wanted to show you is there are different ways that you can do this. Right, okay, that one with that cushion, I've just stamped it in Sweet Sugar Plum, no colouring or anything. This one I painted in Flirty Flamingo, but I just coloured in the little shapes in there. And this one I stamped in basic black Archival ink and then coloured the things in. I like that, but I found that if you use those, when you put the cat on there, in fact I don't seem to have a round one of those, but say I used two of those, when you put the cat on, he's not very obvious, and I've coloured him as light as possible. I think he just shows up more when you've got it like this. Okay, so this is the one I'm doing now. So I've got that and that. I have my cat. I have my dog basket. And I have my dog. Oh, cat's falling upside down. So what else do I need? I need the bird here. So that is really easy to do because we've got photopolymer stamps. So I'm just going to stamp him direct. Mind you, it's not quite so easy because I can't get my head right over. So you're going to have to excuse me while I bring this as low down as possible. There we go. And I coloured him in with Sahara Sand. Yep, that one. In fact, I'll just give that a few minutes to dry. Now with these, you can pop them onto dimensionals if you like. I don't. I just adhere everything straight down with Tombow. I put my cushion towards, let me zoom you down a bit so you can get a better idea of exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm putting my cushion, my long cushion, so that it's just below the blue and white cushion, just covers that line up. And then the round cushion, I tuck it behind this cushion, and as long as I've got that one in place, then it's easy to judge where that one should be. And then I'm going to place my cat, so his body and tail are just on the blue, big blue cushion. Okay, and then with the dog's basket, he's going to go in the corner and he's going to be sleeping like that. And one detail that I have forgotten, which I think's absolutely brilliant, talk about attention to detail, it's, sorry, let's move you back up again. Okay, is on this one here, it's this shadow. I mean, it's such a small detail, but it makes so much difference. It just absolutely balances. So I'm going to do that with Sahara Sand, the same colour that I used for the woodwork. It didn't come out very dark, did it? Can I do it again? No, don't. Maybe I should have used a darker colour. I would suggest if you do that, use crumb cake rather than Sahara Sand. In fact, I am going to go over it. Where's crumb cake? I can't be very far out, can I? Now which way round did I do this? In fact, it's so faint you could hardly see it. Okay, we'll go for it. I'll bring it right down to myself again to get my head over this. There we go, that's fine. I think it looks like the shadow's got a shadow, but that's all right. So yes, I definitely recommend crumb cake for the shadow. Now I'm going to adhere these bits onto my card. I'll use Tombow, and do I have my, yes I do, my, oh, name's gone, my plastic mat anyway. Okay, so I'll do my cushions first. Craft mat, that's what that's called. Right, put that one in place first, so it comes just covering up the edge of the blue cushion. And put this one to line up with that and slide it in underneath. Obviously you could use snail or fast fuse, whatever your preferred glue is. And then the cat. Make sure he's sitting nice and comfy on the big cushion. I've got to try and separate those whiskers. It looks like one fat one at the moment. That's better. Then we do the dog's basket. And the dog. I coloured the basket with soft suede and the dog in crumb cake and the cat in Sahara sand. When I put the details on the screen and in the box below, I'll tell you all the colours and the product numbers, but I'll also tell you what I used those colours for. Right, now this is Sahara sand. This is what I used for the bird. In fact, we'll use the brush end for this. This bird looks very much like a budgerigar to me. I don't know if it was intended to be that. So I'm now going to layer my card together. Let's move that out of the way. There we go, that's that one. Make sure your card opens the right way. There we go, that's good. Move those out of the way, I'm not going to use any more. So with the chords, on this card here, which is the one that I showed on my blog, I cut very, very fine strips of soft suede cardstock and used those. On this one, I covered up, coloured it rather, with my black marker pen. This one, I'm going to try something different. So I'm on a wing and a prayer. I shouldn't really try things new on videos without testing them first. But I'm going to put baker's twine on here. I'm not sure what colour I have here. It is a Stampin' Up product, I know that. But it's a retired colour. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a very, very thin line of Tombow down here. Come on, come out nice and thin, please. That's it. Okay. And just bring that right down to where the nuts and bolts are. In fact, I've forgotten to paint the nuts and bolts. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on top. And that one. There we go. And just cut that off at the top there. Now on this side we can see two pieces of the rope support. So I'll put 2 pieces of baker's twine on there. Right. Okay, Tombo, behave yourself again, please. Yes. Yes, that's good. And then pop this on top. Doing a job like this, it's best if you can just put it down and not fiddle with it too much. The more you move it, the more likely it is that it's going to turn, and if it turns, it's going to get glue on the bits that are facing up, which you definitely don't want. Right, okay, last piece. Can we have a hat trick? The good thing about using the thick baker's twine is it's actually thicker than the gap between the 2 black lines. There's 2 black stamped lines. So if you don't get it absolutely spot on, it doesn't matter, you've got a little bit of lee room there to move. There we go, just give it a press down. There we go, that's good. Now that really does add a nice little bit of texture, I suppose. Right, now I did say that I'd forgotten to do the nuts and bolts, so that's got to be in crumb cake. So let me just colour that bit in. And I've forgotten that part of the swing leg. That's a bit of the arm as well. There we go. So finally all I need to do is the sentiment, and I'm using Birthday Greetings, which is from Wetlands. This one here, okay. Oops, out of camera shot there. So that's what we're using. And I'm going to use Archival black ink. Choose a scrap of Whisper White. That should be fine. But I'm going to do that at an angle. I've got to cut it out as an oval. Upside down, but that's fine. And then I'm using the large oval punch, the retired large oval punch. I should have stamped that the other side, shouldn't I? So oops. Let's take that bit off then. Oops, still a fraction too big. And then I'm using the scalloped oval punch, again retired, and my scrap of Flirty Flamingo. I always have to stop and think before I say Flirty Flamingo, because I think it should be called Flighty Flamingo, but there you go. So I have these two, and I'm going to glue the top one onto the Flirty Flamingo. Pop that into the centre, and I did pop that up on dimensionals. Excuse me. So I think 2 will be enough for this. And then just pop that into the centre. Let me just lift that up a bit. There we go. So that's today's card, and now that I have this mask, I will put it away, keep it safe in the stamp box, so that anytime I want to use this stamp set, this bit's already made. If necessary, I might have to put extra removable adhesive on the back, but that's no great problem. I'll be able to do that. So there we go. I hope you like this, and I hope you're going to give it a try. Where's my other one? That's the first one that I did. Okay. And I hope also that I've given you a few different ideas of how you can do the stamping on the cushions. I think this is really, really versatile, and I can see the different stamps being used in combination with other stamp sets. For example, you know, a dog sleeping in a basket would look quite nice on a lot of the masculine cards. I can certainly see that happening, and I can see the cat popping up here, there and everywhere. So I hope you like today's video, and that you give this card a try. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm always happy to help. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. If you'd like to buy any of the products that I featured here today, please click on the 24/7 link that you'll see in the box below, and that will take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. I will put all the measurements and the products and the code numbers on the screen, but I know that depending on what device you're watching this on, they may not appear. So I will also put those in the box below as well. So you've got everything very nice and handy. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, cheerio.